Hi guys, so today we're going to be looking at customary units of weight. So this is the third type of customary unit that we use here in the United States, something that you're very familiar with using and reading about. So today we only have two different conversions here. So when we weigh things, we talk about ounces or pounds or tons. So ounces is abbreviated as OZ. Pounds is abbreviated with LB, and tons is a large capital T. Okay, we're going to look at tons again when we get to the metric system, but it's going to be a lowercase t. And then yesterday I mentioned how there's going to be another ounce that we use. So there's a difference from the ounce that we used yesterday and the ounce that we use today. So yesterday we looked at fluid ounces, and today we're looking at just ounces. Okay, so when you see the indicator here that we have a fluid ounce, fluid tells you that you have a liquid, and liquid is something that we normally say is filling something that's its capacity, okay, how much it can fill. So fluid ounces tells us that we're going to find the capacity of something, and just ounces tells us we're going to find the weight of something. So that's the difference between the two. So today we're just going to focus just on the weight. So for every 16 ounces, we have 1 pound. And for every 2,000 pounds, that's 1 ton. So you can think of it as 16 ounces. Anything less than a pound is things that you might find at the grocery store, produce. Sometimes if you look in the meat section, it's going to tell you pounds and ounces. So it's kind of grouping those two together. When we talk about pounds, like weight, how we weigh ourselves, like on a scale. And then the reason why we use tons is because there are big items that would weigh a lot, like cars or whales or elephants. So a lot of times we just refer to those as however many tons there are. So if there were 4 tons of something, you're really talking about 8,000 pounds. That's a lot. These are the different conversions that we're going to use today. So again, our rules are the same as they have been the last 2 days. If we're going from a small unit to a large unit, we're going to divide. And if we go from a large unit to a small unit, we're going to multiply. So the first one that we're going to look at today is 32 ounces. And we're going to figure out how many pounds that is. Okay? So we're going from small to large, which means we're going to divide the numbers that we have. We're going to use the information up here to figure out how much we're going to divide with. So remember, for every 1 pound, that's 16 ounces, and we have 32 of them. So we're going to divide 32 divided by 16. Okay? Big numbers. That would be kind of hard to figure out. If you were to put it this way, you're going to look at it and think, oh my goodness, how many times can 16 go into 32? So this is where you would guess and check. And I'm going to start with times 2. So let's figure out what 16 times 2 is. So 6 times 2 is 12. Regroup to my 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Oh, that's 32. So that means there are 2 pounds. It's the same thing as 32 ounces. Okay? All right, let's look at another one. And this time, we're going to go from a large unit to a small unit. So we're going to be multiplying. All right, so we have 12 tons. That's a lot. We want to figure out how many pounds that is, okay? So we're going from tons to pounds now. So for every 1 ton, that's 2,000 pounds. And we're going to multiply, which means we're going to multiply 12 times 2,000. That's a big number. All right, so there are different ways that we could approach this multiplication problem. We've talked about them before throughout the year. You could multiply this problem just as you already know how to multiply. Or we could use that zeros trick where we ignore the zeros that we see here. We multiply the numbers we know, and then we place the zeros at the end. An alternative that you could do is you know that we already have 3 zeros there. There is going to be 3 zeros in the answer. So you could place your placeholders here with those zeros and then multiply what you have left over. So we have the 12 and we want to multiply that by 2. That's an easy multiplication fact because 12 times 2 is 24. So we're talking about 24,000 pounds here. 12 tons is 24,000 pounds. All right. So this next one, feel free to pause and see if you can figure it out yourself. We are going to figure out how many ounces are in 5 pounds. Okay, so we're going to start with 5 pounds. So that first thing that you want to ask yourself is if you're going from a small unit to a large unit, if you're going from a large unit to a small unit. So think about that. Hopefully you notice that pounds are bigger than ounces, so we're going large to small, which means we're going to multiply. What do you multiply with though? Okay, 16, because for every 1 pound there are 16 ounces. So this is the information that you need to multiply with. So hopefully you can do some math there and figure it out. So 5 times 6 is 30. And then we go across, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So we have 80 ounces. Okay? All right, so go ahead and get to work. And then tomorrow we're going to look at all 3 of them combined together and do some problems in which we're going to have different types all together in one place. It'll be interesting. All right, see you guys tomorrow.